We are here. We are here for the stream of a lifetime, for the podcast of a lifetime. Houston, do you hear us? Houston, do you see us? We are Army Strong. We are Army Strong. My cat and I, we are here. Salute, kitty. We are here for the podcast of a lifetime. Stand at attention, everybody who's watching right now. Stand at attention. I want you to believe. Honor, courage, commitment. Semper Fi. He's a Marine. We are here delivering you content daily. And we're never going to stop. Ever. So don't tell us to. We are Army Strong. Alright, that's a good intro right there. Dude, I think I'm going to use that as my intro every time now.
I hope I don't get copyrighted for that.
Who cares, dude? At this point, I don't give a shit. Let's be honest, who cares? If you Karen, you're blaring. Are you Karen?
Karen is Karen.
Sharon is Karen. Jesus, where do we even start with this one, dude? Where do we even start with this one?
All started 2016 for me.
2K14, the year I graduated high school. Ah, Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, who wants to go first? I feel like it's like the elephant in the room. Like, do we actually want to talk about the military, or do we just want to roast it for 24 hours straight? Or for this 2 hours, not 24.
The Navy's like a toxic relationship, dude. I hate it, and you cannot get along with it, but every once in a while you get that bomb sex and for a couple days or a couple weeks or whatever.
I guess the Army's the same way, but I don't know if you're giving or receiving the same fucking shit, dude.
Depends on what you like.
God.
Do you like
all right. We're gonna do this on 3. All right. Which out of all the branches, Coast Guard excluded, right? Coast Guard excluded, because are they even really a military branch? This chair is too squeaky. I need to switch chairs, but it's okay. So Coast Guard excluded out of the 4 that we know, right? Well, I'll name them off for people.
Hold on. Let us not disclude our 5th baby.
The Space Branch.
Space Force, dude.
Yeah, the Space Force. Okay. Let's put it at this, Joe. We're gonna rank them right now. All right, we're gonna rank them just on who's the best, top to bottom. All right.
Sounds good.
We'll do the best to be in, and then we'll do the one that gets the most shit out of all the branches.
Okay.
All right, you make your list first for the best to worst by branch. I want to know.
Okay, so best general, definitely the Marines.
Okay, you're going with the good old crayon eaters.
And I only say this because, and I'm going off personal experience, just the people I've met. Definitely gonna go with Marines. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I just get along with Marines, and they're all actually really good people. It's the ones I've met. So
I know a couple Marines, Semper Fi boys.
Then I'm gonna go. Next up, I'm gonna go with the Navy. I was in the Navy, and
okay.
I think the Navy's pretty badass. Then I'm gonna go the Army, and then I'm gonna go the Air Force.
So that's best to worst.
All right. That's best to worst. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with mine. I think it goes Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. So at least we can agree.
We agree.
We can agree on the last one. All right. And the first, we agree on the first and last, but we put our own branches one above each other. All right, let's go to who gets the most shit throughout the community of the military.
I mean, yeah, excluding the Coast Guard, it's kind of a close
I think Coast Guard is one. The Coast Guard is a shadow one because they don't even get considered into the conversation at all. So it's like irrelevant. But okay, I'll let you go. Out of those 4, who gets the most shit?
Okay, so definitely who gets the most shit, dude? It's honestly, it's kind of an even board. The Navy gets a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Because of it's not gay if it's underway, all that fun stuff. Get that all the time. You've seen the videos of I saw a video. It was like the branches summed up, and it was like the Marines were just like drunk as crap driving. They're basically drunk driving.
Yeah.
And then the Army was like, I forget what they were doing. And then the Air Force was like, they were like, oh yes, the hotel that I'm staying at in Germany is a 5-star hotel. It's a and then you got the Navy, who's just like, oh my God, he's gonna do it. He's gonna suck his peanut. He's always wanted to, and I know it.
I saw one pretty funny video. I don't know if I could show dildo sucking on Twitch, but I saw a pretty funny video of a Marine and all his buddies around him cheering him on to suck a dildo that was stuck to the wall. And this dude took it fucking head on, just face first, jaw fucking relaxed, throated that motherfucking dildo. If you want to find it, you can probably find it on YouTube for those who are watching. But yeah, so let's hear it. Rank it. Let me hear you rank it from the most shit to the least amount of shit out of all the branches. Who takes the most shit in order?
Takes the most shit. I think honestly the Army takes the least shit. I think the Army takes the least shit.
What's good, boys? We in it.
Then I think the Marines. Let me think. Jeez. I mean, we literally called the Air Force the chair force.
Yeah, so they're top of the list again. You know what I'm saying? Or they were bottom on the last one from the best one, and they're top again. So I think we could both agree to put the Air Force and gets the most shit.
I'm gonna have to go Air Force, Navy, Marines, Army in that order.
Yeah, that's what I had for my order, but I think there are some very funny TikTok videos out there, and there's some very cringe ones. And I wish my stream didn't have a delay, because then we can watch them at the same time. But they are so cringe, Joe. I'm telling you, it is just, you will lose your mind if you look up military TikToks and you see how cringe these are. There's one I'm going to bring up, though. There's one I have to bring up. I need to bring up. I'm going to save it for later if we get more viewers. It's absolutely. I'm making it I'm gonna make it my subscriber sound. I don't know. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna find out what to do with this MP3 that I have of it, and I'm doing something with it. Oorah, he's a Marine. It's so golden. It's so beautiful. It perfectly segues into what I want to talk about. The military spouses, dude. Oh my God. There is no limit to fucking crazy when it comes to a dependa, is there? There's no limit, right?
No. Are you kidding? Let's think. From demanding that they be saluted and be called that their spouse's rank, to cheating them on deployments. Dude, fuck.
Dude, I have I'm not one to judge. They're probably good people, right? So some of them are probably good people, but I have just seen, I have seen some very, very out there dependas with people that I was just like, what? Did you just move out of the barracks? Was that your goal, to just move out of the barracks? Like, it absolutely blew my mind when I was in Georgia.
I talked to a lot of people that
furries, dude. It went from furries to like, just like full goth, like full, like, dude, I don't even know. I can't explain it. Like, and I'm like, I'm understanding. You got your shit. You love to do your shit, but holy shit, it's just something I did not expect to see. Especially joining the Army, you think, oh, everybody's got like this cut and dry, like, you know, military wife or military husband, blah blah blah. And I was just mind blown at the. I don't know. It was just really weird, dude. At Fort Stewart, one of the dependas would get onto the post somehow, right? She would get on base and she would beg for money outside of the little shopette. She would beg for money. She'd be like, "Oh, I left my credit card at home, bro," every single day, and she would get the MPs called on her. Like, bro, how is that? Like, I don't know. Fort Stewart was super fucking crazy. Fort Stewart was insane, dude.
I've never seen anything that crazy. That's
dude,
for sure.
The Fort Stewart's absolutely fucking If you're in Fort Stewart, I feel bad for you because that place is just a complete shit show. Complete and utter shit show. There's no way
I think
around
there's a
it.
military base that's not, honestly, I like either halfway there or more.
Well, this base here that I'm at isn't too bad. I mean, it's got its issues like the roads and the traffic, but it's not anything like the amount of I in better terms just like fucking disgusting how Fort Stewart was just gross, dude. From the field and how it smelled in the field to just the general like population of people who just didn't give a fuck about how it looked there. It was just
Yeah,
gross.
San Diego also smells.
Yeah, bro. It was bad. That's the one thing I hated about Fort Stewart. Fort Gordon was fun. Fort Gordon was nice. I like that. That was AIT though. Fort Benning, I never even really got to see that place because that was basic training. I don't know, man. Like the military is weird, and like you said, it's like that one toxic relationship that a lot of people just don't want to get out of, and some people just
Yep,
actually like getting fucked in the ass daily. So it's like,
they
you know, I mean,
talked about it. They're like, "Oh, I gotta get out, dude. Oh man, oh jeez, I hate this. I hate this." But then they reenlist.
yeah, but the reason I reenlisted is because I wanted to get a top secret clearance and maybe land a better job for myself when I'm out. So that's why I
Well, I
reenlisted.
mean, everybody's got their reasons.
Yeah, and I mean, but if you do it, I mean, more it's just such a weird subject, like because the amount of people that are like, I want to get out, but they scare you. They try to scare you to staying in. That's what
So easy
makes
to get in and so hard to get out.
it's so hard. Like my roommate got kicked out for failing alcohol tests or whatever and like all this stuff because he was a crazy alcoholic, right? He was supposed to be out like 3 months ago before COVID, and then they just kept dragging on. Oh, COVID happened. COVID-19 happened. Bro, this dude got in a fight with his first sergeant and two of his first lines outside of our fucking apartment here. They're on the ground holding him down, and then fucking, and then literally 2 days later he was kicked out after he just was fighting with them. So it's like who do you disrespect the most to get out? That's the thing.
Chris, I'm not. I will be completely honest. That has crossed my mind before. Just like walking through like the rec center and seeing like a chief, right? In the Navy, it's an E7. Seeing a chief and being like, if I just like decked this guy, I'd probably get out real fast.
Yeah, that's what that's how it's.
Obviously, I didn't do it.
No, I mean I see. I don't think a lot of people do. It's just the ones that absolutely do not give a fuck or they have legitimate issues. Like I don't know. It was. I've had my moments where I'm just like, fuck this, dude. I don't care. I'm not waking up. I'm not going to PT. And then there's little old
Mhm.
me, knocking at the door and saying, all right, you gotta go to fucking PT, buddy. Get the fuck up. And like, I don't know. The army's caused so much stupid shit for me. I can't even begin to explain. It's like you don't really have your own life when you're in the army. And I think that's what a
Yeah,
lot,
they
or
own you.
in the military in general. I think people don't understand that it's like you literally like sell your soul, and you have no say.
That's literally what it is.
But
That's
but
what it is.
but what they tell you, what the army tells you is, yeah, you can, or not the army in general, but a lot of the military branches, like, oh, you have freedom to do what you want. Just you can't go over 250 miles away. You can't do this. You can't have a beard. You can't do that. Like all these rules, and I understand why they do it for uniformity and for all this shit, but it's shit pay unless you rank up. The point system to rank up is super fucked up. You can get
I gotta
demoted,
say,
and like it's
just the sole factor of difficult it is to get out and how trapped they make you is absolutely absurd. It's like if you want to get out, you have to jump through so many hoops. You
yeah,
have to do so many things just right, and it can be dragged on way past your EAOS. They say you can get out. They say your contract is up, quote unquote, in 4 years or whatever you signed up for, but that's not true at all.
dude, they
It's not
drag
true. They
shit.
they can keep you in for like 8 years. Just yes.
Fuck yeah, fuck that noise, dude. I hate that shit, and
I really think a lot of people would do a lot better if it was just easier. If it was more like like a job for like maybe like a construction company around here. Obviously, keep the uniformity, but like a little bit more freedom, I think would do a lot of good for the personnel.
a little bit more freedom, and then on top of that, I don't see what the need to do like PT and stuff like that is in the morning. Me personally, I think it's like if you do it on your own, like they say, oh, PT doesn't help you, right? They say it's just to sustain you, right? That's what they say PT is for in the army. They're like, no, this isn't to get you better at something, it's to sustain you. And they say you're supposed to be doing PT on your own. And then I'm in my head, I'm like, then why the fuck you got me up here at 5:30 in the morning, standing in formation, waiting for a 6:30 bell to go off? And I understand accountability. Just fucking text me, dude. Call me so you know I'm fucking alive. If I don't pick up, okay, then fucking mark me down with a strike. I don't give a shit. Like, dude, it's kind of fucked up how they. It's the way the army's always been. But it's like, I guess they do it for. So if you're having like a battalion thing or like something where it's like, oh, we're doing a run, we're doing like team PT or whatever, you know what I mean? Like with a mass group, that makes more sense to me. It's like, okay, I'll go on a battalion run. That's cool. As long as I don't have to go to PT every other fucking time with the same 4 people who don't give a shit about it either, who don't even try, it just doesn't make sense. That part doesn't make sense to me. Like how they say that. They can get rid of PT. And I don't think anybody ever listens. Did you ever have to do like command climate surveys and shit?
Yeah, we did once a year.
You know that people actually get fired because of those?
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened around me a lot too. Like people legit get fired for that shit. It's crazy, dude. How like so when I was at Fort Stewart, we did a command climate survey, and we were in the absolute worst barracks I've ever been in. Mold every time you left. You would have to clean the mold every fucking week, or it would get over everything. And you have to throw out your clothes, your uniforms, get new stuff. And like, dude, it was so bad. And like, on top of that, you were roomed, bro. I shit you not. It was literally just like, see the room you're in right now. Just like imagine putting 2 giant wall lockers in there, and then dividing the space in half, and that's you get one side, I get the other. There's no
It was very.
There's no ovens, anything like that. Like you just have a microwave and a fridge and a sink, and then you have a bathroom, and you're sharing that. It's tiny ass space with somebody else. So what we did on our command climate survey, we had over 100 like lower enlisted soldiers throughout our battalion say, "Give us our own fucking barracks." You know what they did the next week? We all got our own fucking rooms. So that shit actually works. It was pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's a positive side about the whole thing.
Yeah, but what was the worst part about being on a ship? That's what I want to know because I don't really know that.
And apart from just being completely away from society, that amount of time,
It's gotta drive you mad.
things. Yeah, so I don't think it honestly, Chris. It probably isn't much worse than being out in the woods in Germany. Probably about it's I think a similar. You're in a similar situation. It's just on the water instead of.
Yeah.
You always have to have a watch, right? There's always a watch going on, and I was on watch. We all had watch team.
Yeah.
Guess there was kind of a cabin fever after a little while. People would get mad at each other, stupid.
And there'd be
like,
fights
other than
too,
that-
right? Like fights and stuff.
Yeah, there would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some fight.
But how many people are usually on like the ship that you were on? How many people were on it total?
I was on a carrier, and there were around 370 personnel.
So you had to see and know everybody, like just like in general. You at least saw everybody at least once, right?
I saw everybody maybe once a day.
That's just
It's personal. It's a lot more personal than say like a aircraft carrier, which has 5,000 people.
yeah.
Small
Wait, so do you actually have like Wi-Fi or anything on there or what?
Oh, no Wi-Fi.
No, so you have no service at all.
Oh, there are computers that connect to land. We have LAN networks that ITs we can connect to LAN.
You have sat phones and shit like that.
Yeah, there's we have comms that can can circulate through the ship and
That's fucking dude. Thank God I didn't join the fucking Navy. Holy shit. That sounds
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, what did you do? Just fish every day?
actually that was one thing you could do.
I know. I bet I went on to one of the little. I don't know what it's called. Somebody told me what it was called on Sunday. Who was in the Navy, but I can't remember exactly what it is. It's not an aircraft carrier. It's one of like the transport vehicles. The Army has 3 of them, but I can't
Oh,
remember.
I think I've seen those before.
HPC, is that what it is?
HBC maybe.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but the Army has 3 of those. I went on one,
LCS.
and they told us everything about it, and like how, and they have all these fishing poles and stuff, and like they go fishing, and they showed us how they do PT and shit, and I was like, bro, I would fucking hate this. I'm not gonna lie, I would hate doing PT in here. Like, bro, just how small it was too, and like I went
But
into
yeah,
their
I mean,
quarters.
PT was awful. Like you have a small little air conditioned gym. Uh, we had 2. There was a gym, for a weight training gym and a cardio gym. But when you're out in the water, the
Jesus
waves, even
Christ.
on like calmer days, the waves are like 10, 15 feet. Then once it starts to get stormy, they're big.
Yeah.
But you can't really work out. It's like if you're trying to deadlift, bro, it's dead ass dangerous because if you hit the wrong one, you have all that weight. You have plus the gravity of hitting a wave and coming back up.
Holy
It's
shit, dude.
intense. Yeah.
Fuck, dude. That
Working out
does
is
not
hard.
sound fun.
And then running is, you could imagine, it's a whole different
Well,
thing.
do they have treadmills? I saw treadmills on one of them, and then like the crew machines too.
They got those.
Yeah, that's just no, no, thank you for a shit. I
Yeah,
couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Definitely couldn't do
I
it.
will say the quality of sleep, despite being in a small little rack, was phenomenal.
Oh, I
Especially when
don't
you're out
doubt
to
it.
sea, because the rocking of the ship was like honestly something I kind of miss. It was so nice.
Dude, I would honestly, I would live on a yacht if I fucking could. I love boats. I love boats, but I don't love like the Navy boats. I was like, fuck this, dude. I would never want to live on one of these. But like if I could live on like a luxury boat, of course I'm gonna fucking do it. That shit's, dude, I love it. I love luxury boats. I love boats in general. That would be absolutely amazing to live on one of those. But back
Should
to
visit here, man. We got boats galore.
I know. I'm trying to buy one.
Jet skis, boats.
I'm
Like the
trying to
whole
buy one.
community is boat oriented. Like everybody, the parties on boats like all the time.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah, so kind of like your analogy, it's no different to staying in the woods. Well, guess what I did when I was in the army a lot? No phone, no nothing. And not as long of a time as you when you were out to sea, I bet. But we would stay in the woods. I stayed in there for, I don't know, maybe 2 months. And we went back like once or twice during those 2 months to just shower one time. And
Oh, geez, so you couldn't even shower?
we were running retrans in Germany, cycling out the same and but baby wiping and all that shit. We were on like the top of this mountain. Like people still ran food out to us and stuff because the mortars were right near us, and like they had their own position, and they would go out to the field and shoot, and we would watch them from these bunkers. And we were just running retrans from like the tallest point in Grafenwehr. And dude, it was like literally probably the best time I've ever had in the army. Probably the absolute best time I've ever had in the army was in Grafenwehr, Germany, in the woods with Sergeant Kitchens, Adair, and fucking Trip, dude. And like how you said, people would get cabin fever, they get mad at each other. We played spades every single night. And every single night we would get mad at each other. And we'd all go to our own tents and we'd be like, fuck you guys. And then Trip would come out and be like, wanna watch a movie? And we watched the same 6 fucking movies that we had on DVD. And then we'd go to sleep and we'd be picking apart MREs and shit like that. And dude, we'd just be out there in the woods. I'd be walking around. If I had I don't know if I added it to Facebook, but I had this one Trip took this really funny picture of me just shirtless walking around in Germany with just my army bottoms on, and I'm just going like, "What's good, motherfuckers?" Like throwing up the deuces and and all that shit, devil horns and shit, and like we're just running around, dude. And it was just so fun. It was something so like you didn't have contact with like the outside world. You weren't worrying about what stocks were going up, what was going down, what business, what was on fire, what was being saved. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have any of that worry. The only thing you cared about was like just running the radios, making sure that people had comms, and just dude, just chilling, having the absolute best time of your life. No alcohol or anything either. Like it's just like Dude, it was actual genuine fun, and I actually miss it. At one point, we did end up playing cops and robbers when there were no missions going on, and we had our own little walkie radio. So if anybody ever did contact us, we were in the woods just playing cops and robbers, dude. It was so like it was absolutely. And this is in the woods of Germany where there's fucking bears and all these other crazy fucking animals, and we actually had a bear. Or something. It was, I believe, Sergeant Kitchen said it was a bear that ransacked our emeries and teared them apart, dude. And it was just it was scary, dude. But it was just like I don't know. It was fun, dude. I miss that. And Kuwait was
Some
a
of my
kind of like
favorite
that.
times. Some of my favorite times on the ship are have like just late night watches, dude. Cause so my watch consisted of being like the literal lookout, right? So
Yeah.
so what our station was like is so we did circadian rhythm for a while, which was on 9 off, and when we couldn't do that, it would be like a 5 hour shift and then a 3 hour. It was weird, but anyway, that's not
That's a
really
weird
important. What
shift
it is,
schedule. You
yeah,
don't get like any
yeah, some
sleep
of
from
them are
that,
nuts.
dude.
No, it was pretty. Yeah, if you had like the balls to 3 or the 3 to 6, and you had to work in the morning, it was pretty rough. Like it was there was some definitely some really rough times. But the watch station, what they consisted of is we had um, 4 stations, right? There was the
Yeah.
starboard and aft. There was a starboard and port and aft lookout, right? So those are basically just you had a man the starboard wing, which is kind of like right up in the pilot house. If you're familiar with the pilot house,
Is that way up top?
that's way up top where all this stuff is controlled, basically.
I think I know what that is.
Yeah. So there was like there's the wings on the side, and you'd have to stand out there, and you'd be on comms with operations, which was like the operations slash combat center of the ship. So in case and you saw something, you have to call out everything you see. And when you're 600 miles out into the ocean, like seriously could see anything. Like we've seen some. Actually, I don't think I recall seeing it. Okay, we can get into some alien stories, which we'll get into a little
Oh
bit.
shit.
Some weird things we saw out there, bro. Some
Holy
very weird
shit.
stuff. Uh, but dude, some of my favorite times were just being on those. It was kind of like this very thing where we would just like talk. It was kind of like gaming, like
Yeah.
when we in parties. You just because when nothing was out there, it's like 2 in the morning and there's no lights on the horizon or anything for miles. Just chilling, talking with some dudes, and I think some of my best times actually like on the ship come from that, just because at Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I'm
Okay.
listening.
All right, yeah.
I like
It
the
just
stories.
yeah. Some of the best ones were we would make up like ghost stories and try to scare the crap out of people at 2 in the morning. And dude, I'm telling you, those were some of the funniest things, bro. We got so intricate with it at one point. Oh, there's like a secondary. There's a few other places you can like dial into the comms, right? Like our net. So the net is kind of like your channel on the comms that get run throughout the ship. We were freaking net 5.2, dude. Net 5.2 was you could go to net 5.2 at any point underway, and some weird shit was going on. Like it was like either music was playing or they're talking about like playing that. You put Dick in the movie title. It was just like no place like Dick, and just like throwing like games like that. And
She's just not that into dick.
yeah, because Navy, right? We're all just a bunch of freaking.
Yo, fucking. My thing is though, like, so you have alien stories. What was the game, like the card game that you guys played? Like ours was Spades.
Honestly, we didn't play too many cards.
Are you serious?
Played so towards the end there was one kid that played Yu-Gi-Oh, and I played.
Oh my god. I'm talking
I
like
know. I
the
was one of those
Yu-Gi-Oh.
guys for a little while.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. What is that? The Pot of Greed, the best card in the game. The Pot of
Yeah,
Greed.
the Pot of Avarice.
I don't know,
Avarice.
whatever it is, and he's got like the smiling face on it. That's the one card I remember. But dude, fucking the ship
We
sounds
did have a
fun.
guitar. We had some dude. I mean, dude, there are obviously some like unforgettable times.
I wouldn't do it, but a ship does sound fun.
Yeah, there were some unforgettable times. Like, okay, so I got to tell you the story of when we,
All right,
dude.
let's
So
hear
there's
it.
this one dude. So there's two actually. I have two to tell. Hey, what's up, Dad? Dad just got here, so
Hell yeah.
everybody in the chat, say what up.
Hello, Dad.
two stories I got. So first one, we had this dude. His name was Adams, right?
Yeah.
Guy Adams. He's kind of like he's from like the deep south, right? He
Oh
had like
God.
a
Hello.
thick accent. He didn't know much about like what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he came into
One of
the
those
Navy and
guys.
he's like completely new. Yeah. So I would like to like he was a funny dude and he was also easy to scare. So one night, we were just telling stories. So like being out, you can imagine being on the back of a warship at 2 a.m. where there's literally no lights, especially when it's like a moonless.
Yeah.
It's pitch dark. You can't see anything. Like you can't even see like your walk back to inside of the ship.
That's actually kind of
So it's,
sketchy.
it's very sketchy, man. It was very sketchy. We would just tell stories. We'd be like, dude, you know, it'd be fucking scary, dude. If like all the lights just turned on at once and like half the crew's just standing on the flight deck pointing at you and just like really crazy shit to like stir your imagination, right?
Yeah.
This kid, he'd be like, dude, stop. And then like one of them, they got me a couple times. And there's one time I'm never gonna forget this, where I was standing on the back and they were like, dude, do you guys see that person? Like, because you could, like, because there were like obviously like cameras where you could see,
Yeah.
right? And they were night vision
Yeah.
that operations had, and they'd be like, dude, can you see that person like walking out to the aft right now? And I'd be like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's opening? Like, they'd be like, dude, there's like a shadow like behind that 5-inch gun. He'd be like, oh,
Dude, that's scary.
yeah, dude, it took like some serious mad out there and not like go, you know, it was kind of scary. Anyway,
Wait. So
I
okay.
keep going on tangents right now.
Yeah. It's okay. Fuck it. It's the good times. That's what we're talking. The good times right now.
To talk about the good times sometimes.
Fucking what is it though? So you say it's like pitch black on there. So did any crimes ever happen?
And other than like, we threw some trash overboard every once in a while. I think that's about as criminal as.
No, I mean like did other
Yeah.
sailors commit crimes against each other, like steal stuff or anything like that?
Oh yeah, theft was a problem for a little while.
Oh, okay.
There was a period of time where it was actually like nobody stole from each other, and it was really like everybody was really like wholesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then somebody
yeah,
popped the
towards,
cherry,
like,
right?
There were definitely periods where somebody pops a cherry,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then
like
everybody
so
wants to
he
do
steals
it.
that, so then that person has to steal something from someone else in order to get that. and
Yeah.
it's just, you know,
The
all of a
cherry
sudden, I'm
poppers are
mixing-
always the worst people because then they just flood in the crime. It's kind of like how cancel culture is today. It's like, oh, this person, I think they did something bad. Let's just ruin them. And everybody's like, I don't know what they did, but fuck them. Like,
I think the worst one that worst thing that someone ever stole from me was headphones. I had
oh,
a pair of
dude,
like nice like $100 headphones, and somebody just hacked them and never found them.
Jesus, that's fucking horrible. Fuck those people. No, I got what is it? I got a funny story. There's this one dude. He was an NCO. He was a staff sergeant who shouldn't have gone to Germany with us, right? He should not have gone to Germany at all. And they sent him out there anyway because he was in the ASAP program, which is now like Scud C or something like that. It's the alcohol abuse program. And this dude, bro, holy cow. So the first like 2 weeks of us being there, we're getting the motor pool all set up and like we're getting all our vehicles and shit like that. And like I was basically like I could drive anything in my battalion, so I drove a bunch of vehicles. But I guess I missed this on one of the nights that I was in a different base than where our home base was, and so I guess he went AWOL and they found him passed out in PTs like 2 days later in the fucking woods with just a shitload of alcohol and like chocolate around him. So he was passed out, just drunk as fuck after he ate a bunch of chocolate or some shit like that and drank a bunch of fucking alcohol. And they're like, okay, you're on lockdown. We're gonna just put you on extra duty, like blah blah blah, all this stuff. Mind you, he should have never even left. The only reason he did was for numbers, so that we can meet 80%. So this is all our command's fault. The reason this dude his career. Well, again, he had a drinking problem, so he was already trying to fix that because I think he was involved with something else. But that's neither he said she said. But so the next thing he does that is absolute. This is still the crazy. I remember when this all happened. So he's on ammo guard, right? At one of the ammo points, and he's there with two other soldiers, a specialist and I think it was a PV2 or a PV3, and he's sitting there in the truck, and I guess the dude, his drinking problem was so bad, he was like, "Get out of the truck." And there's a gate, so they were behind a locked gate. He smashed through the gate with a Humvee, went to downtown, like downtown. I forget what the name of the fucking town was. God, it's escaping me. I can't remember. Downtown Grafenwehr, basically. Went to the bars and stuff in a military uniform with a fucking Humvee, and was gone for a week. Just disappeared for a fucking week. They found the Humvee the next day, but he was just running around the whole downtown Grafenwehr, Germany, getting drunk in just a fucking uniform. They finally found him and brought him back. They demoted him down to E4, like all this crazy shit, dude. Like it was just nuts, dude. They sent him back on the airplane, right? Like a couple weeks later. And he had an escort with him, and his escort was supposed to make sure that he doesn't do anything bad, right? This motherfucker lights up a cigarette and gets drunk as fuck on the airplane. Lights up a cigarette on the airplane, and they have to fucking remove him from the airplane and change his flight, and then literally handcuff him to bring him home, dude. And it's just like crazy. Like that was like one of the craziest things that has ever happened. And I was just like, what the fuck, dude? I was just like, what the fuck?
I think the we didn't have anybody with that kind of problem. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that was like wild like that.
Yeah, that was insane. That was such a crazy circumstance. We did have another dude, so I was in S6, which is like I don't know if you guys have S6 or what you call it, but it's like the like the comms and all that stuff, the commo platoon or whatever. Or like not platoon, but the commo what is it called? Squad. You know what I'm saying? Like we were all like IT specialists and like radio men and stuff like that, and we all worked in the same office. And we had this one dude who worked with us, States, dude. And this guy, he's in jail right now for attempted for hiring a hitman to kill somebody. I think I've told you about this before.
You did.
But dude, how crazy is that? So like dude, it's just nuts to think that you literally work right next to this dude and have no idea that this is going on because he played it off like he was a hilarious dude. He just played it off, and then next thing you know, yeah, States is arrested. They want you to say something in court about it. I was like, no, I'm not making a statement. I wasn't a part of his personal life. Fuck out of here, dude. Like what? I've played video games with him, but you're trying to get me to make a statement on who he is, like, and all this shit for attempted murder and all that. I was like, no, dude, no, no, no. And it was just like,
no.
you don't expect it, dude. You did not like. I just didn't expect it at all. I was like, what the fuck? That was one of the other crazy things that happened. I'm trying to think of more. There used to be like fights between scouts and infantrymen from other battalions and stuff like that would go down, and somebody broke his jaw on one of them. And all the barracks parties were just nuts. I don't know if you guys had crazy barracks parties or if like alcohol was banned on was alcohol banned on the ship?
On the ship, yes.
Damn.
People still did it, but I can't recall anybody ever getting caught. I heard stories.
Alcohol was banned in Kuwait, but yeah, did you have any like crazy stories when you were at the barracks and stuff of people just like doing crazy shit like that?
I mean, aside from people getting hung over, like just showing up to work like hungover as crap, but like people didn't really care about that. I mean, it's the Navy. Like, it's almost like expected of you to show up just like completely waste. Like, there was one time where I got like absolutely plastered in Sri Lanka, and dude, I blacked out. Like, I almost ran in front of a truck and like
holy shit,
like it was nuts, man. Yeah, and then I get back to the ship. Like nobody actually cares. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I didn't even get in trouble for this. Like, it was fine. That's how like people don't even. I get back and I'm just like saying what up there. I was like, "What's up, baby?" The guy with the chest and I was talking to, like just all the homies. I was just like, "Yo, what's up, boys? I'm going to bed now." And I go to bed and then like 15 minutes later, I threw up, dude, and like all over the freaking thing. And it got over some kid's head. Like I don't know why he didn't freaking try and fight me over this.
Oh Jesus, dude.
Yeah, man, I made an ass out of myself that first freaking port visit.
Everybody always makes an ass. Oh, you had to go to a court martial for that?
No, I didn't have to do that.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't get in trouble at all.
Oh,
They didn't care. Um,
that's dude.
yeah, but I was talking with one of the chiefs. He was like, "No, I was." What happened was like he was like, "Go back to bed," and I was like, "No, I gotta clean this up. This is my responsibility." And I was like, wouldn't let anyone like help me, dude. It was wild.
Dude, good fucking times. Like we used to get shit faced drunk, dude, and just
Yeah.
whatever happened out of it, it happened, good or bad. It was just most of the time I don't even remember it. We have so many funny videos.
Shiny one, shiny pop. No, not yet. Possible.
We had
They're out and about.
we had so many like crazy just like videos on our Snapchat and stuff that I have to like get from everybody from my friend group at Fort Stewart. Cause dude, we had some fucking wild times. But let's talk about like the training and stuff. How bullshit was your training, or was yours legit?
So my training was pretty unique, man. My training was unlike much any other military training you'd think of. Like I literally went to what was like a school. It was basically school.
Yeah,
It was literally like it was. I woke up like this was my day every day, and it didn't change at all. So my day was wake up at about 6:20, just because I was not a morning person. I did everything at night.
yeah,
Wake up at 6:20, put my uniform on, um, muster at 6:30, right? Because and especially it was literally right outside, right? I just like
yeah.
walked down the stairs and boom, I was there. So it was really easy. Um, get there at 6:30, go to muster until 7, go eat breakfast, go to school for a few hours, lunch, back to school for a little bit, PT, get back, dinner, homework, and like an hour to myself, and then bed. And it was the same thing every single day.
Damn, dude.
It was actually really, it was great because I actually liked what I was doing. Like I
Yeah,
actually enjoyed learning the language
yeah.
and learning about the culture of the Arab culture. So I didn't have too many complaints. Mine was actually pretty good.
Damn, dude. Mine was pretty. So I was on something called swing shift. So like you, I'm a night person. I've always been a night person. I can't. The morning is just not me ever, ever. Like I can wake up for it now, but that's because I have like four alarm clocks, and then the cats wake me up too. But dude, when I tell you my shift, my swing shift, which was I go to school at night from 5:30 to 2 in the morning,
Yep.
5:30 p.m. to 2 in the morning, and bro, it was so wonderful. It was one of the best. Like, and the schoolhouse was so boring. It was so boring, and they just fed you all the stuff, and all you had to do was just memorize, basically, and you could pass every class. Like, I got honor grad going through AIT and all that stuff, and I was like, dude, I barely know this, but I just memorized a lot of it, and I just memorized like a lot of key phrases, and that's how I got through most of it. But it's just like it's crazy because I love that swing shift schedule, and where I'm working at now, I'm finally back on like almost something like that. Like I still work days, but I work from 5:30 at night to 5:30 in the morning sometimes. And dude, it is the absolute best because I'm awake. Like during the day, when I wake up at 4 and go into work for 5, dude, I'm not awake for the whole day. Like the day, it leaves me. Like the day I'm literally a zombie. But when I wake up at 5:30 in the afternoon and I go to or when I wake up at 5 in the afternoon and go to work for 5:30 to 5:30 in the morning, bro, oh my god. I'm literally lively. I'm like, "Yo, let's get this shit. I'm ready to go. I'm fucking working right now. I'm having the best time of my life." And I think it's because of how early they had me on swing shifts, dude. They had me up and then again, I'm not a morning person, but they had me up and they've always had me. Like even when I was in the field, dude. Oh, when we were in Germany, they did some fuck shit to us. Well, it was kind of a lot of people's faults, and they fucking punished all of us for it. But bro, they had us doing setting up talk, which was setting up these giant tents and setting up all our tracks and all this stuff, all this heavy equipment for 36 hours straight. We were awake, bro. 36 hours, and then we
Ooh.
had to go straight to the field after those 36 hours. They let us get an hour to sleep, but it was really only 30 minutes. And because people left their gear back home in America and they didn't bring it to Germany. Dude, it was fucking horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I hated it. I hated it so much, but like dude, the field and like staying up late and shit like that was my go-to, dude. I could fucking do it. And that's where I shine as a soldier, but during the day I'm just not there. Like it sucks. Like I love the night shift stuff, but I hate the days. I hate the days.
Yeah, I think in terms of like BS that I had to deal with, there were a couple. I think like I mean we had a resupply uh, exercise. Well, they were actually like actual. Am I blanking on the word? Like Raz. It was Raz like underway replenishment. Um, to do that at 4 in the morning every week, which was pretty rough, especially if you already had watch. There were a couple times where um, and they have it really bad right now. Glad I'm kind of
Yeah.
glad I'm not still there. Like they couldn't. They were on lockdown because of the coronavirus. They couldn't leave the ship. Nobody could
Oh,
leave. Yeah, so like their deployment just started, the ship I was on, but they
Jesus,
really
dude.
haven't seen land in like months already.
Dude, you see that one dude that got fired, that one Navy commander? Because he's
Yeah,
like,
I got friends on that ship. I got friends on that ship.
yeah, bro. I thought that was pretty cool. How he just came out and said that
I
shit.
thought that was cool.
That's a good leader right there. The one that's not afraid to be held
Really is.
accountable. Because I feel like what happens now
Like
in the military is people just don't want to be held accountable for shit that they do wrong, and they just push it off onto the lower listed, or they just let it get swept under the rug.
he took that one all on himself, and that's very respectable of him. I'm not gonna say he technically did the wrong thing.
Yeah, he did.
Like he owned it up. He owned up to it completely. And
Yeah, but the thing, he did the wrong thing, but he owned up to it. He took whatever punishment they gave him, and he let the people know what the fuck was actually going on. You know what I mean? Fucking. That's all you could ask for. It's just like nowadays I have all these. Well, not right now because I'm not really in contact with like any of my army leaders right now. But just over the past, like throughout my 6 years in, I'm just like, I've had leaders where they don't give a fuck about you. They'd rather you get out of the fucking army and they have a less of a headache and they just fuck your career just so they look better. Bro,
Mhm.
I've been in like discussions where I literally like designed like all these things to go in for like when I was back at Stewart, like I put in ideas and I put in all these works and NCOs would just take it and use it as their idea. Like I wouldn't get credit for it. I barely got any awards when I was at Fort Stewart. But when I get to Kuwait and I actually put in my input and I say, "Oh, we could do this better or we could do that better," and they actually listen to me and they implement it, dude, I got like 4 awards in Kuwait, and then I also got like 6 coins just for putting in ideas and bettering things. Like, but when I was at Fort Stewart, we had toxic leadership, and they just didn't give a fuck about you, so they fucked you over. So it was just kind of, it was like, it depends. It depends where you go, and that's really the sad fucking problem with the military. It's like, where do you go and who's in charge of you? That literally dictates your career from the second you get into the big military, no matter what branch. It's like what dictates your, and I mean, of course, you have your own narrative as well to put into it, and you can either fight against it or you can just sit back and take it and wait for your opportunity, which is kind of what I did with Kuwait. I didn't tell anybody I was going to Kuwait. I just requested it. I was like, look, I talked to my branch manager. I was like, what do you have that's open that I can go to get the fuck out of this place? And she was like, I got Kuwait or Korea. I said, Kuwait sounds nice. Send me there. So I get sent to Korea, or not Korea, Kuwait. And I was like, I could go to Korea, but I'll probably come back a private. So I was like, fuck that. Send me to Kuwait where I can actually do something and feel something about my career for once. And came back. Kuwait was the best experience of my life, man. By far the best experience that I've ever had in my entire life was Kuwait. And I would go back there in a heartbeat. Yeah, what was that? I think you cut out.
I just said that's no, that's good, man. That's I know a couple people that also went to Kuwait. Um,
It's phenomenal there.
uh,
It's a shithole, but it's phenomenal. It's like that sense of like togetherness that you have there, and everybody's in like the same ship, and it's so small. It's like a tight knit community.
that's traveling in the military is one of the real benefits of it. Like
Traveling,
Morocco,
yeah,
the opportunity I got to go to Morocco was probably my best experience. It was like to be able to go to a different country and immerse myself in their culture is part of the education I was receiving was like absolutely stellar, dude. Like I lived with a Arabic family, and I went and in the school, was no English in school. It was all Arabic. Like every word,
Yeah.
there was no English. And it was just to be listening to like people like in Morocco, and then after that we had like Liberty, and we can go around in the town. It was, oh man, it was probably the coolest thing
Well,
have I can think of, dude. Like, but like, I mean, I also went to Sri Lanka, I went to Bahrain, and Hawaii a couple times. Like,
yeah, so but the
I,
thing
that was
is
really
about traveling. Like traveling is fucking beautiful. I loved it. Every time I've went somewhere, I've loved it. And while you're in it, it's amazing. But then you look back on it and then you realize I haven't seen or talked to anybody like family or friends in X amount of time. So every sword has two edges to it and it's like shit, bro. I
yeah,
kind of got the shit end of the sword on this one, but looking back, you have these memories like and I think that maybe giving up that time for family and friends kind of benefited me in a way because I kind of found myself in those moments. Does that make sense?
yeah,
And there was this one time when I was in Spain and we were at the end of our little Trident Juncture. That was the name of the mission that was going on there. It was like a joint mission between a bunch of different armies, NATO armies. Like we got to see the Spanish army. I believe the Croatians were there. Polish. There was a bunch of people there. It was a lot of people, and we were taking the tracks back to get loaded up on the train to get sent to Germany, right? And I remember just driving over the deserts of Zaragoza, Spain, and just like, dude, like this
yeah.
pink and orange sky, like this crazy like flame colored sky, and the sun's going down and all this stuff, and like I'm hanging my head out the track with like no Kevlar on, which you're supposed to have on, and like my hair is blown in the fucking wind. I got sand hitting my face. I'm like, dude, I'm where I need to be right now. This is fucking amazing. And like my captain, who was driving with me, he was like, "This is perfect, isn't it? What better sight could you see?" And I was like, "Beats the fuck out of me, sir." And it was just like, dude, it was one of those moments, and we all stopped too. At one point, just to stop and look at it when it got like super crazy, like the desert sky. It got super crazy at one point, and it was just fucking beautiful. I don't think I'll ever see a sky like that again because that was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So it's like beautiful moments like that kind of like make the military worth it when you travel.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree.
But it
Similar to looking out the ocean and seeing nothing but blue from
I can't imagine that.
sunset
Just
after sunset, sunrise after sunrise.
yeah. Damn, dude. What is it I had a question. So what yeah, when you're out on those things,
Also,
right? Okay, let me hear it.
stars you could see, the stars you could see in the ocean were like absolutely inconceivable. Like you could see there were, there was a telescope. I forget what it was called, but it was a high powered one. It was meant to see all the way to the horizon, which was 22 miles, and you could point it up at the sky and point it at to the Milky Way and look at
Yeah.
the stars, and it was like currents and streams of stars that went like this. Like it was
Yeah.
like absolutely absurd. I've
That's
never seen it.
crazy, dude. I need to experience something like that now. That's pretty insane. My question though was gonna be so I know the type of person I am, and it's like when I was out in those things, I loved it, but when I come back to like an actual base where it's like the same like 9 to 5 routine, not like anything can happen type of deal when you're in the field, right?
Yeah,
Or when you're on like mission or something like that, and you're working like crazy different schedules than you normally would as a nine to
definitely
five.
a
And
lot more
all the
boring.
stuff going around, like you got Taco Bell here, you got fucking all this traffic going on here. You have to drive to this, drive to that, and it's not with a Humvee or anything like that. You know, it's like you don't have to walk X amount of miles. You don't have to do this. So like what I found is when I get back to bases like where I'm at now, I hate the noise. I hate it. I like the peacefulness
Hmm.
of like even though it's so crazy and it's so unrealistic to do these missions and like to do all this training and like all this stuff and in your head in the moment you're like why the fuck am I doing this, but then you see and you experience all these crazy things and then when you get back and you're like I fucking miss it. But I never actually missed all the noise of being back at like a base and being able to wake up and drive to fucking work, drive home, sit in a fucking house or sitting in a barracks room every night. I've never loved that. I've never missed that. The only thing I've ever missed was being in the field or going out there and doing some fucking cool stuff, you know? I think that's what I've
I feel
missed.
that 100%.
So like now it's like it kind of sucks to be back here because I want to be out there doing something crazy, but I do have a dope job. So I will say my schedule got changed. The job I have now is fucking it's phenomenal. So I can't like now I'm actually feeling like I'm in a better place. So it's like but before with just like the strict like wake up for PT at 5 get there at 5:30, blah blah blah. Roll call, sixth thing goes off. 6:30, you're starting PT. You go till 7:30. It's the shittiest PT in the world because half the people don't want to do it, and then most of the people want to do it. So it's just like all this above. By the time you wake up, it's already bullshit. But when you're in the field, you're waking up at 0400, and it's like, all right, we got a convoy, let's go. And you're falling asleep the best sleep you ever had on top of a fucking vehicle in a sleeping bag when it's dead cold in the desert, and you're like, all right, fuck it, I don't care. Like it's just like it's a
I feel
weird
that.
thing.
There were some weird spots. It is a weird thing. It is like how I've fallen asleep standing up before.
Yeah, I think we all have. If you're in the military, you at least have fallen asleep standing up, or you almost have. Like, oh, dude, it's a crazy thing.
Definitely. Yeah, it is. It really is. It's the is.
Yeah, it's something
I
else.
swear I could sleep anywhere, dude.
Yeah, I could sleep anywhere too, dude. I love sleeping on the couch, and I love all that shit. Like if I could, or I remember one time I love sleeping on top of tracks and stuff like that. I slept on tracks all the time, and there would be this one spot. So if you're in a track, I don't know if you could see me, but you're literally cramped in, dude, and you're in like this tiny seat, and you're in the driver's hole like this in the driver's hatch, and this is how cramped you are. And I used to fall asleep and shit like that. Just no space at all. I would just put my head down and fall asleep. But I think we're gonna have to come back to a part two. I'm gonna end it early tonight. We're gonna come back to a part two, probably later on in the week. I'm thinking Friday if I can try to get some of my boys on it as well, like Trip. If we can get him on here and get some other people, I think Friday might be the day that we do the part two to this. But we're gonna end it early tonight. So thank you for tuning in. This has been Down the Rabbit Hole with Satch and Chris, and this was the military episode. And this is part one. We'll be coming back with a part two, and maybe even a part three. But thank you for tuning in. Bye.